think about it. And it was surprising to see that I actually have not missed a day, unlike last year where sometimes I forget to do a live stream or um, I had other stuff to do. But this year I have not been missing any live stream whatsoever, which was pretty surprising, not gonna lie. And I absolutely um, appreciate you guys for watching some of my previous live streams, the one where I review NXT Stand and Deliver, and also where I review the Super Mario Bros. Movie. You guys um, watch the live stream, watch the replay, and I appreciate that for you guys. So, from the thumbnail of the video and from the title, I have nothing to talk about today. I legitimately have nothing to talk about. A lot of the stuff that came out recently are just like minor news. So some of them I will probably just um, mention and not giving my thorough opinion on it. So like for example, Logan Paul has renewed his contract with the WWE, which is well, I mean, good for him, I guess. There's nothing else that I want to say more about that news because Logan Paul is a great asset to have in WWE. But again, if he does not renew his contract, it's not a problem anymore because it's not a problem. Uh, it's not actually a problem for me because it's technically not a loss for WWE if they don't renew his contract, but it's definitely a win for them if they renew it because as much as we hate to say it, but Logan Paul is really good in the ring, and as a celebrity, as an influencer, as a YouTube content creator, it would be really nice to have someone who has that big of influence in the WWE. But I'm not really fond of having him in the WWE, especially after there's an interview with Becky Lynch. The interviewer asked to her about Logan Paul, and Becky Lynch said that he actually hates people like Logan Paul who came up to WWE getting the big bucks just to wrestle a couple of times each year, unlike people who are actually signed with the company. They have to bust their asses day in and day out, week after week, months after months, in order to entertain the WWE universe. So it feels like, you know, it's not fair that their job is being taken by influencers. But hey, I agree with Becky, but I also agree with Triple H for renewing the contract because Logan Paul is actually a draw. He is drawing more audience to WWE, I think. So let's get into the topic of the day. Since Matt Riddle already returned this week on Monday Night Raw and also on SmackDown, something really bothers me. He has not hit a single RKO. Ever since he has aligned himself with Randy Orton, um, forming the tag team called RK Bro, Matt Riddle have used or have already put the finishing move RKO in his repertoire, in his movesets. So seeing him attacking the Miz, and instead of delivering the RKO, he's delivering the Bro Derek, which was pretty interesting because this could go both ways. They could either just try to sell material as a single superstar again, or two, they're actually just going to disband Alchemy Bro as a whole. Because as we know, Randy Orton is having a back issue or a back injury, so he's not going to be returning to the WWE for any time soon. So there is no reason to for um, Matt Riddle to keep using the RKO if they're not in the team anymore. Maybe it could go. this way. At some point, maybe Randy Orton would return, and then Matt Riddle would try to form the RK Bro again with Randy, and Randy just went just go along with it. But then he would stab Matt Riddle in the back, and then elevate Matt Riddle in a rivalry in any way. I think that's what's going to happen. But when Randy Orton returned, Matt Riddle would um, persuade Orton to form back the RK Bro, and then they would have a couple of tag team matches and possibly challenging for the tag titles again. But they would fail because Randy would hit the RKO to Matt Riddle. In my opinion, that would be great for storytelling because it could go either way. Whether they would elevate Matt Riddle to be a strong single superstar, or they would rebuild Randy Orton as a legend killer again. Maybe he got to challenge Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. But for right now, the storyline for Matt Riddle is that he is going to help Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn against the Bloodline because the reason why he was out of television is because he got kayfabe injured by Solo Sikoa. Solo demolished him months ago, and that took him out of television for who knows how long. I can't remember, but yeah, that's why Matt Riddle is holding a grudge to the Bloodline, especially on Solo Sikoa. This was back when he was aligning himself with Elias, and now Elias is just a talent enhancement in Monday Night Raw. Again, this is probably a hot take, but I personally enjoyed the Ezekiel gimmick. I think that gimmick actually worked um, with Elias, especially tying him with people like Kevin Owens and then people like Matt Riddle back then. Ezekiel could definitely work, and Ezekiel actually have matches on pay-per-view and also weekly on live television. Ever since they came back as Elias, we have not seen Elias on live television on a weekly basis. We just see him getting jobbed against people like Bobby Lashley and Omos. So I feel bad for Elias. I really do. And I don't really know what else I want to say since maybe I could talk about a little bit about so if you guys watching the replay, I'm not going to talk about wrestling anymore, so you can just close the replay right now because I'm going to talk about a video game that's called Troublemaker. It's formerly known as Parakachuk. It's a local game that got released on Steam just a couple of days ago, I think, maybe a week ago. And a lot of people are saying that the game is good um, for being an Indonesian game, but for me, you cannot you cannot rate the game just because it's being made by Indonesian because this game was released by Toga Production. I can't remember, or is it by Gamecom, or is it by Mojiken? I can't remember. But there are already other um, Indonesian game. They're actually, in my opinion, way better than Troublemaker. I'm saying games like Coffee Talk. I'm saying games like A Space for the Unbound. Those games have this visual novel style with like retro graphics, whereas Troublemaker is it has visual novel in the style, but the whole game is in 3D. and that's the problem. It tried so hard to be something, but it failed. The gameplay feels repetitive. The fighting system is really bad. So this, like, I don't understand why people would enjoy playing Troublemaker, because I think that game is trash. I'm saying this as an Indonesian. I don't want to be biased on this game. I see this game objectively, not subjectively. Wait, is it vice versa? I can't remember which way that I rate a game without without being biased to it. Is it objectively or subjectively? It's one of those two. So some people would say that as an Indonesian game, this is good, but personally, I don't think you could say that, because we have other Indonesian games that have um, better storyline, better gameplay, better uh, mechanism, better replay factor, and we need to say that Indonesian developers do not create these games for local audience only. They are also targeting for outside market, like international markets. So it would be weird that they think this game is good enough for the international market, because if you look up the game Troublemaker on Steam, it feels like a game that someone made in Source Filmmaker in SFM. Even worse, this feels like those low budget, not safe for work 3D game that you see on Steam. Some of those are even better than Troublemaker. Troublemaker fails on multiple aspects: voice acting, um, sound design, character design, world design, character building, uh, narrative stories. It fails on multiple aspects. It was one of the most anticipated local game for last year, 2022. So people were really expecting to see this game, and I hate it. I've watched people play it, and I hate it. I don't understand how those people are able to play this game from start to finish. There are moments where you have to play the game in order to essentially give it a rating, but Troublemaker is one of those games where you just have to see the gameplay to understand that is this game suitable for you or not. To me, Troublemaker is not suitable for me at all. Like, let me look it up. Troublemaker on Steam. Troublemaker on Steam. To see the review. Surprisingly, the review is very positive. So, if you guys can see here, this is the Troublemaker on Steam. Where is it? There it is. Maybe I could flip the camera. There we go. There we go. Okay. So this is Troublemaker on Steam. Like, the art style feels weird, and the gameplay is actually a combination of 3D animation and also 2D. Like this, load list. Thank you. Like, they don't have a middle ground where they pick whether they want to have a 3D cutscene or 2D cutscene. That's the problem with the game. I mean, look at that. That looks so bad. I mean, look at that. That looks really bad. Like, I mean, I don't think you can kind of see it, but it looks really bad. It feels one of those. It feels like one of those game demo on Unreal Engine. It's so weird. The game is so weird, and I don't understand why people give this game a very positive rating. Let's see the review would be down here. So the fight this game is like a beat 'em up game. If you think of beat 'em up game, you think of like games like Yakuza series or Sifu. This is trying to be, I think it's trying to be, it's trying to be a Yakuza game, but it kind of, it it failed. Like it failed miserably. The mini games that the Yakuza games offer are like miles better than this because you actually get something from those mini games like collectible items or money to buy other stuff or rewards that you could equip to your character. But in Troublemaker, you only gain money, and those money only get you like finishing moves. But after you get those finishing moves, what else you can do with the money? Nothing. That's the problem. It got so many awards last year. Kotak Games, most anticipated Indonesian game. It's also the most anticipated Indonesian game by the Lazy Mondays Gaming Award. Oh my gosh. And I think one of the things in this game that I don't agree with is because this game is based on high schoolers, okay? This game shows high schoolers drinking alcohol, which is something that I'm pretty sure pretty fucked up. Alright? You cannot have a game that shows high school students drinking alcohol in school premise. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. So, okay. So, we're getting a lot of good reviews, but also some bad reviews. Oh, yeah, and also the game is trying too edgy. It's trying to be too edgy because sometimes when you have characters talking in profanity language, it sometimes it fits. It fits the context, it fits the scenario. But when a character keeps saying curse words, keeps saying profanity out of their mouth for no reason whatsoever, it gets repetitive and it gets boring and it gets why are they saying this out of just spite? Just because. They're saying it just because. Like I mean, if you're talking in English, you probably use profanities like fuck, shit, a lot. But maybe we have a couple of words that could translate to those things, but we don't use them on daily basis. I mean, if you talk to your friends like, oh my gosh, dude, what the fuck? That shit is hilarious. We have those kind of words. Sometimes we say like anjir, dilalu, that kind of thing. And the word anjir, it has like a lot of connotation. Same thing with the word fuck. It could mean like you're happy, sad, angry. The word anjir as well. But there, the words that's being used in this game, all of them are insult words. For example, like honto, it means like you're a dickhead. It says like someone it's like an insult to someone by using something between your crotch, male's genital. There you go. And then the word like I'm not going to say other words because it's weird. As a non-English speaker, you are more you are more familiar with profanity in English and you are more comfortable saying them instead of saying bad words in your own language. Like I hate myself after saying that dick word in Indonesia, but saying it in English like you're a dickhead. I don't feel regret saying it. So maybe some people feel that way. If someone calls me, hey, you're a motherfucker, I won't feel a thing. But if they insult me in Indonesia, we are going to fight. A fight's about to come down. So I want to see some reviews. People says that the dialogue is really stiff. It cannot be formal and informal at the same time. And then the voice actors were really bad at their job. It feels like the voice actors does not understand the characters. The characters are supposed to be high schoolers, but it feels like they don't understand that they are supposed to be high schoolers. And then there are other characters like um, Bapa What is Bapa in English? Like some older dude, but their voice is really similar with high schoolers, so the casting really feels really weird. And also for the main character Budi, the voice actors cannot differentiate when Budi is talking in calm voice or when he's talking loud. So most of the time he's talking really loud. It feels like he is always angry, which is not the case. For example, when he was talking to his mother, his mother was like, Budi, why are you fighting with these people at school? Budi answered with, well, they're the one who started it. It should be a defense argument to his mother, but it feels like he's actually get angry towards his mother, which does not make any sense. You are angry with the people who attacked you first. You're not angry with your mother. So you should say that line in a calm voice, like, well, they're the one who started. So like, no, they're the one who started. You're not angry again towards your mother. Woody is supposed to be angry towards the situation, not towards his mother. So that's like, I don't understand. And then character movement is really bad from what this guy is saying. And then it's not optimized. That's another thing. Even if you're using a really high-end hardware on your PC, you can still see the pixelate and polygon. Some stuff can be polished. And then also here's the thing: they spend too much time on designing the 2D character. So when I said previously, um, they have visual novel section and in-game section. So they will use the in-game section as the background, and then when a character is talking, they will show up the 2D image of to the visual of the character. The problem is the 2D image design is not correlate with the character design in 3D form. So, for example, Budi's hair is spiked in the image, but in the 3D model, his hair is long. There are a lot of consistencies in the character design. Story is bad, and then for price, it has the same price as games like Dreadout, but Dreadout actually has more depth to the story. So some people are saying that it's not worth it to buy in full price. Some people are saying that the game is a too ambitious project, and then yeah, some people are saying that they have no positive review on this game. So yeah, I think I'll end this here. Troublemaker is a failure of a game. Some people try to defend it as Kaya anak bangsa. This is a local game which we're supposed to be proud of it. No, we're not. We have other games that we can be proud of. Have you heard of a horror game called Dread Out? Have you heard about a coffee making game called Coffee Talk? Have you heard about this story rich game called A Space for the Unbound? Some people are saying that game is amazing. I have not played that yet, but I've seen Dread Out and I've played Coffee Talk. I've finished Coffee Talk from start to finish and getting all of the achievement. That game is amazing. If you like games like Valhalla, the bartender simulation game, you would like Coffee Talk. Like You cannot defend this game at all just because this is a game that's being made by local independent developers. And in my opinion, there's nothing that could save this game. There's nothing that could save this game. If they want people to care about this game, they need to redo it from start, from scratch. There's nothing that you can fix. You want to fix the voice acting? Go ahead. But other things would be broken. For example, character design, story, um, fighting system, battle mechanics. I think this game could work if it's not a beat 'em up game. I think it could work if there's one of these two: a visual novel game. I'm sorry, three: a visual novel game, a retro RPG game like A Space for the Unbound, or three: a turn-based RPG, because this is a game where high schoolers are fighting each other to get something. I can't remember the goal of the game is. So I think a turn-based RPG could definitely work. It does not have to be as ridiculous as Japanese turn-based RPG games. It could be as simple as if you see a game like South Park: The Stick of Truth or South Park: Fractured But Whole, um, you can actually kind of like copy their battle mechanics, because I think that game's turn-based RPG system is actually pretty good for a game that is not a JRPG. Or maybe you could see other games like Persona series, or like Final Fantasy, the old Final Fantasy. I'm saying, not the new one where it's open world. The old one where it's turn based. So yeah, I think that's all about for today. I've been live streaming for 27 minutes. The time is 12 past midnight. The date is 11 April. So I'll be live streaming on, not on tomorrow, on the same day, probably. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. I know that it started with me talking about Arcade Bro, but it ended with me ranting about Troublemaker, the game. I'm really sorry about that. Well, anyway, thanks so much for watching. My name's Defaja, and I'm signing out.